All right, y'all, so welcome back. It is a gorgeous day today, so you already know we are gonna ride, and I have a nice review for you guys today. So I have been riding around with the Silber turbo exhaust. We're going on 36 hours now. So I'm going to give you guys a nice little sound bit. Then I want to actually go over this exhaust. So I have not gotten the tune yet. I'm still waiting to get my tune for the exhaust. So I'll go over that process a little later. But for now, I'm going to give you a nice little review on the Silber turbo exhaust and what I think. And yeah, so let's go ahead. Let's get into it. All right, welcome back. So I hope you guys enjoyed your ride. So I wanted to talk about a couple of things with the Silber Turbo exhaust. The first thing I want you guys to know is I took the baffle out of the front of this exhaust. So it comes pre-installed when you get it, and there's a little set screw, or what's called a little set screw that holds the baffle in place in the front of the exhaust. I took it out, and there is not a way to screw in the little screw without that baffle that screws into the baffle. So one thing I did kind of notice, you get a little more exhaust smell. I'm not sure if the little gasket in the front of the exhaust blocks that hole or not. I feel like it does, but you do get some more exhaust smell. You do have a more open exhaust, so that's probably part of it as well. So there is that. You do smell a little bit more. When I first tried the exhaust, it seemed you have to kind of break it in a little bit, all the coating and all that kind of stuff. I'm assuming you get a little more smell out of it. Boom, boom, it's official. So let's talk about the design. As far as the design, I really like the design. It's lightweight, it looks good, a nice finish. Looks like it's constructed well, and I'm really feeling it. I'm liking the style of it. That's why I kind of picked it. I didn't really like the big bulkiness of some of the other exhausts. This one's nice and streamlined, so I'm really feeling that. I think one thing as far as this as design that I wish I could have seen is this in more of a black, some type of black finish, matte or something like that. It only came in the chrome. It looks like a lot of his exhausts come in the chrome. I didn't see the black, but it is still a nice finish, but I wish I would have seen that. So as far as the sound, like you guys just come back from the ride, like I said, I gave about 8 minutes on this sound. So to start it off, when I took the baffle out, I'm not sure how it sounds with the baffle in. I probably should have tested it out, but it's such a pain to get those springs on and off. I just didn't feel like doing it. Once I had the baffle out, I was like, hey, it's out. But it is really, really loud. From the inside of my house, I can hear it. When it's in the garage, any type of garage, parking space, something like that, you definitely hear the tone. So it's a lot. It's a lot to get used to if you're used to that quiet sound. If you have vehicles that are real quiet and then you put on something like this, it is very loud and it's a lot to get used to. I know a lot of folks are like, oh, it's so loud. But it's really not that bad. And, you know, the louder the pipe, the more that people can hear you. So as far as the loudness, I think the loudness is good, but it can be a lot for somebody who has never had something like that or not used to. It just takes a while to get used to. Um, so yeah, it just takes a while to get used to. Now, as far as the actual sound of the exhaust, not talking about the loudness, but the sound, the tone that it has, I think it's a very interesting tone. Again, it took me a little bit to get used to it, but once you kind of get used to the tone and how it sounds, it's a really nice sound. It's a little bit higher pitch when you get into the higher RPMs, but in the lower RPMs, it's kind of got a deeper grumble. So it's a very interesting sound, but I am enjoying it and I'm loving it. I think one thing about an exhaust is that even though they try to make them all the same, you really just never know what you're gonna get. The tones may differ from exhaust to exhaust, from engine to engine. So, I mean, as far as my experience and with this one, I'm feeling it. Like I said, in the lower RPMs, it's a little bit deeper. In the higher RPMs, it's a little bit higher. Um, but it's not. See, I was afraid. The reason why I hadn't gotten exhaust really was because I was afraid that it would just be too loud riding longer distances at higher RPMs. But I think I can deal with this sound for a long period of time. It just makes the ride more fun in my opinion. Man, y'all see me showing off my bike. You know I love my bike. Boy, this thing is off the chain. But I want to talk to you about my favorite part about this exhaust. This is something that I hadn't really noticed, and I hadn't noticed it on a lot of other exhausts. So I have to pay attention a little bit more. But I know with this one, my favorite part about it is actually on the D cell. On the D cell, you can hear a nice little burble. I mean, it sounds really, really good. And I think that's what really made me love this exhaust was that burble sound, that D cell sound. It's just like, and it's like, man, I like that. I like that a lot. So that is definitely my favorite part about this exhaust. It's what would make me buy it again if I ever had to buy it again. It's what would make me recommend it to somebody. Is that D cell sound? I'd have to hear some other exhausts to see if they do it as well. But some of the other exhausts that I've heard, I have not heard that. So I really hope I capture that on the camera for you guys so you can hear that nice sound. That's what really made me love this exhaust. So the biggest pain in the ass about these exhausts, and it's not just this one, it's probably going to be all of them, is actually the install part of it. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like you can't do it. And for some people it may be easier, and for some people it may be harder. So just keep in mind when you get into a project like this, even though it seems so straightforward, and I'll explain. If you come down here, you have a bolt and a nut, which if you see my last install video, the bolt is actually, this is actually a new bolt. The old bolt actually bolts into the older exhaust. This one comes with the new bolt and a nut, so you have to figure out how to get it up just right so you can line up the hole and start getting it secured. On top of that, then of course, which I'm not going to go under the bike, but you do have two springs that you have to pull off. It's a pain to get those springs off. You need some type of spring puller or some type of shoestring. I use the leather strap. Started with a zip tie. I mean, it's just a pain if you don't necessarily have the right equipment for that. So I highly recommend before getting into this type of project that you have something to get those springs off, and then on top of that, getting the springs back on. So install, I would give it probably, and this is probably across the board, install is probably a 5 out of 10 because the install is a pain on these things just because of those springs. If it wasn't for those springs, if it were maybe some type of bolt and nut type of thing, that might be easier, a whole lot easier, but these springs are a pain. So as far as the install, it's about a 5 out of 10. But yeah, as far as the exhaust itself, the sound, the feeling you get out of it, it's definitely I would give it a 9 out of 10 because you just can't give a perfect score. You just can't give a perfect score. You just can't do it. There's always room for improvement. But as far as, the sound, the design, the feel of it, everything is pretty damn good. So definitely a 9 out of 10 for that exhaust. So I appreciate you guys watching. I hope that you got something out of the video. If you have any questions, please comment below. I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. I got more things coming. I got the tune coming for it, so stay tuned for the tune. And it's summertime, baby. We out here. Ryker fam, you know what to do. Tap in. Let's go.